Hello everyone, Matt here with episode 9 of the Brentford series. We are now up to the January transfer window, which is where we said we were going to pick up after the last episode. It's still going quite well. You can see we've got a couple of wins. We're still on the A+, up to 5th in the league. But with us being in the January transfer window, we wanted to make some signings, and the reason we want to make some signings, apart from the ones that we've already gotten in, which if we click on the transfers, is it going to show me in? No, transfer history. You'll remember last time out it was Ben Whiteman and Jason Kerr for a combined total of about £2 million. They've sort of come in as like the Jason Kerr is probably going to be the third choice centre back. What we did notice when we looked at like the team report and the analysis report, analysis report, our XG per game and our shots per game were below average from the Premier League, which would suggest we're probably not making many chances. Our passing is massive and our tackles and shot percentage are massive, so we are getting shots off, but we're not getting a high quality of chance. So what we've done, I've been working quite hard on this, is we've opened up a program called Tableau, and we have come together to make this, which is a scatter graph. You can see the axis is between minutes and chances created. So this is from the players that my scouts have brought back. The lowest minutes is 0. The lowest chances created is 0. You can see there's a few names down here like Josh Onoma. So this is the average line here. So the average line being 1.442 chances created by an average of minutes, so that the average minutes, I believe, is 934. So anyone around here is particularly average. Daniel Brachanaga, you can see, is performing above the average of chances created per the minutes. That's what that means. So really what we're looking for is sort of anyone in this area. Particularly, you might have noticed like Stevie Mallon at the top there, like Lewis Ferguson, Alan Campbell, etc. What we want to do, because it's minute wise and chances created per minute. You see, like Cameron Brannigan, he's created 1.42 minutes chances per 2,180 minutes, and Matthias Pereira as well. So then if we go back to the FM screen, we go to our scouting screen, because this is basically the screen that we got it from. And then we're going to find the players like Pereira, Stevie Mallon, we've already looked at in previous episodes. He might be a little bit too. I don't know the word for it. I don't know. I don't feel like I want to take the risk on him compared to the risk I've taken on others in the past. So yeah, these are the positions and blah blah blah. So Matthias Pereira was the main guy, wasn't he? That we were looking at. If I can find him on the list, maybe not. Might not be able to find Pereira on this list now. Excuse the sniffles, lads. I've got a bit of a cold coming on. Right, so you can see we found Matthias Pereira there. What the table graph has done is it's calculated the chances created per 90 along with key passes per 90. Yeah, that's basically sort of created like a medium range for it. So Matthias Pereira, if we go back to the FM screen, Matthias Pereira, there he is. You can see there 2.52 and a 0.07. He's an inverted winger. He's attacking midfielder, and yeah, you can tell by his average rating he's doing well. Assists and 6 goals. The fact he's £26.5 million means that we're not going for that, because it's the undervalued players that we go for. So to the next two I want to look at, and we've looked at Alan Campbell in the past. So maybe Lewis Smith, maybe Barzola. That's the James Joe, Adrian Sohi. Cameron Brannigan is sort of like an average, so he's like consistent enough. It's the guys who are like above average that we want to look at. So yeah, like Lewis Smith, Alan Campbell, Lewis Ferguson, maybe even Abu Harui. Um, so we need to find them now. So if we do add condition name, this will be easier doing it this way, won't it? Can we do it by name? No. Bollocks. Oh, there we go. Name. Abu. God's sake. I've worked hard on this and it looks like it's not going well. Was it Abu or Abdu? Abdu. Abdu Harui. So he has made 21 appearances with an average of 1,886 minutes. He's a defensive midfielder or a midfield centre. He dictates the tempo when he plays 1-2s. He's got very, very good DNA. That's above average for most of it. You can see he's got an XG of 4.7, which would suggest he probably takes set pieces for them. He's got a free kick taking of 11, but yeah, he's creating on the face of it is 5.61 chances per 90 with a key passes of just above one. As we see with this, it sort of it tries to find like a medium range for that. I'm probably going to give him a little scout if there's not already some on him because it's guys like Jensen that we why didn't I find him? It's guys like Matthias Jensen that if they come out of a game for any chance, we're knackered basically. I mean, 5.25 million if we were to ask about the availability between 8 and 11. So again, he's not necessarily the best value for money. Nicham, you playing for Celtic. Garano, Kirk. Maybe let's go find Kirk then. Yeah, a bit of work's gone on behind the scenes to this. Name contains Kirk. Here we go. Garano Kirk is actually wanted by Villa and Shandong. This guy is more of a winger. 9.5 million. So you can see, I mean, it's picking out these guys based on the average. You can see a lot of them are valued quite highly, and that suggests that this data set is actually correct. I mean, if you like this idea, then I'm more than happy to go ahead and do it behind the scenes again, and sort of to pop up a few of these tables. Yeah, we don't really want to be paying too much for somebody. Maybe let's have a little look at Lewis Ferguson and Lewis Smith next. So if we change that to contains Lewis. And we're only looking at this, as I say, because Matty Jensen's actually picked up an injury, and since then, we've not created anything. Like, I think our goal difference is a +5. So there's these two guys. They're both playing in Scotland, Louis Ferguson and Louis Smith. DNA-wise, Lewis Ferguson probably edges it again, 6.75 million. Lewis Smith 180k. See, now this is where it gets a bit more interesting, although they do play in different positions. They're quite comparative. If anything, despite the fact that Lewis Ferguson's probably got higher chances created, because the tables like putting the chances created higher up, that would be why Ferguson is actually ahead of Lewis Smith. But as an average on a whole, I think Lewis Smith's actually created the better chances from the looks of it. He shoots from distance, he hugs line, and he cuts inside from the right wing, which might give us something a little bit different. Do you reckon about 500k? Okay. Inverter winger, he can play that. We'll give him a little scout. We'll see what they say. Is there anyone else on this that we want to look at? We got Pereira, we looked at. Ferguson, Champ, Jack Taylor, maybe. Have a little look at him. and then maybe Barzola, because Barzola looks like he's just performing consistently, whereas these guys tend to be performing like above average. Bratsiaga doing really, like, he's created a lot of chances, but he's playing for Sporting Lisbon, so he's not necessarily playing against the hardest opposition. Um, yeah, Lewis Smith, Jack Taylor. Let's go and have a little look at Jack Taylor. But yeah, definitely Lewis Smith out of those ones. We go down again, and we look for Taylor. So you can see, like, I mean, doing it this way, it it looks sort of like on the face of it, like, oh well, he makes the most chances per 90, but it's actually easier to visualize with the table. I'm more than happy with how this has turned out. I mean, I can pause pause the recording and go make another one and sort of see maybe if it's just like pass completion or something like that, shots on target, something along those lines if need be. But if we go back to this, see Jack Taylor, he is playing for Peterborough, valued at 1.9 million. He's 23, gets forward whenever possible, dictates tempo and tries long range passes. Um, on average, a very, very good player, performing very well this season, over 28 appearances. They're saying Metzala, but he'd obviously play in our team as an advanced playmaker on attack for now. But again, we can always change the tactic around him. Let's have a little look at his reports. What are they saying? Let's just compare him with the main man, which is Matthias Jensen. So, yeah, attribute-wise on the graph, it's very even. I think Taylor edges him slightly in his aerial and speed. The physical, mental, technical, and attacking is the same, but Jensen's got better vision. You can see comparative wise, there's not much in it. Statistically, key passes per 90, Jensen's a lot higher, but we're looking at chances created. Um, Pass completion's higher, shots on target a bit higher, tackles won, tackle completion. So he's not necessarily better than Jensen, but I think that what we're after here is someone to come in and back Jensen up, because the guys we've got at the club just aren't really doing it at the minute. Oh god, 4.8 mil. You reckon about 3.5 million? Uh, I think we just make an offer of like 3.5 million, and see what they say. Let's pop that as 3.5 million and do that now. Yeah, so there's two players we've identified off it. Is there anyone else that's catching the eye? Santa Maria is quite average. Tom Lowry. Hamer's playing for Coventry. Martin Boyle or Daniel Barzola. Maybe Suzuki. He's quite sort of in the middle of the pack. Jack Taylor. Okay, I'm gonna pause it there, and I'm gonna change this axis and see sort of key passes and see if we can find anyone that maybe is hidden within here. Alright, so we just changed it up slightly to now look at sort of key passes per minutes played. Again, these guys, they've not played many minutes, so it's sort of around this range that we want to look at. Bobby Decordova-Reid's actually doing really well. Fitzjim, again, Barzola showing off on there. Obviously, Pereira and Brannigan are out ahead. If there was anyone sort of around this range, that'd be the best to look at. So that's saying let's John Fleck, Barzola, Fitzjim, Decordova-Reid, and Bertrand Traore. So let's have a little look. Let's do Barzola first. So Daniel Barzola, will it find you based on bars? Probably not, because it's probably spelled different. No, it's Bar Lazar. Because I'm an idiot. Yeah, I just thought I'd make it a bit more visual for you guys rather than just chatting one about this. He's wanted by Millwall. He's playing for Rotherham. £2.5 million. He's only 24. DNA's good. He's okay, you know. Comes deep to get the ball. He dictates the tempo. He arrives late and he tries long range passes. Again, let's just compare him with Matty Jensen. He's actually got less cons than Jensen. And star rating wise, there's not much in it statistically. I mean, the key passes are way off. Pass completion's not as as close enough. He wins a few more tackles. Average rating wise, he's quite good. Attribute wise, there's not really much in it. Advanced playmaker on attack. 13 to 12, 12 to 13, 14 to 13. Yeah, they're very, very, very similar players. And physically, Daniel Balazar sort of edges it slightly. You can see in the physical they're saying it's even, but if you look on the base of it, his agent thinks between 1.9 and 2.9 mil, and he'd have 10k a week. So where are Rotherham then? Where are Rotherham performing in the Championship? Oh, they're in League One and they're 13th, so they're not even doing well, Rotherham. He's outperforming for Rotherham. So Balazar's definitely, definitely, definitely up there. Would they take 2.2? Well, we'll get rid of that. That'll take it to 2.6. I'm happy with 2.6 million for that. If he's putting those sort of numbers in. Yeah, decent. Ryan Jack, Bertrand Traore. I'm going to look. I don't really want to look at Deco over Reed or Bertrand Traore because obviously Fulham and Villa are quite, well-known teams, so that they're not necessarily going to be best value for money. John Fleck might be quite good depending on his contract situation. But we'll have a look at Ryan Jack. We'll have a look at John Fleck, and we'll have a look at Keane Fitzjim. So Keane Fitzjim is playing for Ajax. Is it Young Ajax or is that normal Ajax he's playing for there with his minutes? Okay, so it's Young Ajax. Okay, that's fine though. He's got 2 goals with 4 assists. His DNA is not the best. He doesn't make many chances, but his key passing's quite good, and just his passing in general is quite good. This might be one for the future, If what's his agent chatting? He might be unwilling to sell. Okay, well we'll definitely drop a little scout report in on him, and then it was a John Fleck next, and Ryan Jack again. John Fleck. We didn't compare Fitzjim to Jensen purely because he's not going to be better than Jensen. It's not finding someone better than Jensen. It's finding someone who's comparative enough. John Fleck is probably going to be worth a bomb, isn't he? Yeah, 25.5 million. That's a shame because he looks decent. On average, he's creating a chance a game. He's got really good key passing. That is a shame. Ryan Jack then. But it looks like for the time being, Balazar is probably going to win it. Ryan Jack. Okay. He looks decent. 10.5 million though for a 29-year-old. So let's compare him with Balazar first, and we'll see. Because if he's massively better comparatively, then key passes is quite close. Pass completion, he's better. Shots on target, he's not. He wins a lot more tackles, so that would suggest he's probably more of a defensive player, which he is. He's a box to box, whereas Balazar is natural as a Metzala. He's playing in a better league. Attribute wise, you can see mentally he and physically he probably outperformed Balazar. We don't have a report on him, so we'll do that. And how much is Stevie G asking for him? 14.5 million. I mean, we've got the money in the bank. I think we got 35 million in the transfer budget, and we're looking to move some players on. But Ryan Jack again. Is there anyone else that we can look at there? See, look, they're all just going to be worth stupid money. These lot. Joe Lolly, I know he's worth about 10 mil on it. Nathan Young Coombs might be sort of the best of the rest. So we whip a little Nathan in there. Give him an okay. So Nathan Young Coombs, he has one teamwork. Holy shit! I've never seen teamwork that low. Never. Wow. I'm sorry, I stunned into silence. I mean, the only thing I can suggest is he's probably playing as like a winger because he's massively fast. His acceleration's huge for League One. Wimbledon are playing. That doesn't necessarily require teamwork. Yeah, I'm gonna put it down to that. So, so the table has worked. Ilias Chair again. He's another one who's worth a bit. We've looked at Haradovic in other episodes. James Jones is not really creating many key passes. But if we compare it comparatively by 90 minutes, so let's just go and have one look at James Jones, and then we'll change the table up again. James Jones at Lincoln City, but he's making around 2 chances per 90 minutes, and key passes is just above one. He's a 25-year-old Scottish midfielder, runs with the ball through the centre. DNA wise, he's okay. And he's just as I said, you can see by his average rating, he is literally just the average. Have we got any report on him? Probably. Yeah, we have actually. He was last scouted on the 6th of the 4th, 21. We're now the 2nd of Jan 22, which isn't great. So we'll just have to look at his stats rather than his report. He's injury prone, he's not very versatile. Other than that, he looks okay. Again, this is from the 6th of the 4th. Statistically, is he close though? Not really, no. He is pretty much just like the average. So, yeah, he's pretty much just sort of like the average midfielder. Okay, I'll pause you the recording again, and we'll change the table up again. Yeah, there's a group of players there that I'd definitely like to sign, but I'm just not going to part way with that much money. Maybe Harris seems a bit too average. Um, Balazar at the minute is winning it for me, purely based on how many key passes he's making, and it's pretty much like two a game. And he's performing really well in a league that isn't great and a team that's not performing well. So that suggests he's probably got a bit more in him than his attributes are talking about. Right, so next up we've got a passing percentage, although it's not done it as a percentile, it's done it as a decimal. Obviously, the higher the decimal, the higher. Again, as you can see, Pereira is well above and away the average, but he's too much. The next guys, the average is minute average wise is just under 1,000. So it's these guys who are sort of like above the average, and then obviously anything along sort of like this 1-to-1 line. So Matty Longstaff, who we did have a little look at in off camera, um, we had a little look, and actually Josh De Silva doesn't really make anything. He really doesn't create anything. If we pop him in there next to Jensen, you have a little look. It's saying chances created is literally zero. Pass completion per 90, 41 is nowhere near enough, and key passes is like zero. Newcastle actually are interested in Josh De Silva. So this bid here, transfer offers, Can we edit this bid? No, we can't negotiate the offer. No, we're gonna let's negotiate the offer and see what they come back with. Yeah, we did look at Longstaff. You can see Matty Longstaff is sort of like it's saying 0.9%, but if we go into the back into our scouted tab and we have a little look at what it's chatting, scouted tab is edit search is Longstaff. And the thing with Longstaff is he's probably not necessarily like an advanced playmaker. He's probably more of like a box to box player, which is obviously where we play Josh De Silva. You can see attribute wise, he's pretty good. Comparison with Josh De Silva. Thank you very much. So you can see the only thing that De Silva's really winning on is assists because he's got 3, whereas Longstaff has got 1, but he's not creating those assists. That might just be like a pass into someone like Fosu who then runs through. Tackling wise, he's a little bit better. Average rating, he's literally 0.1 of a decimal above. But pass completion, shots on target, and key passes, he is not very comparative to Longstaff. Report wise, they quite like the look of Longstaff. Um, do we? Add a player. See, I don't think this add other players from squad function works anymore. It definitely used to. But if we like right click him, transfer, we can't really do anything with him. We click into him, it used to pop up like a little button, like here next to transfer, like including deal. Doesn't work anymore. The only thing I can think of then is if we go transfer status and we transfer list him and we do it as unspecified and we just skip forward the day, and I'm going to see if we can do a swap deal for Matty Longstaff, which looks mad on paper, but could work to our advantage. You might have just seen flash up there. We are actually in the Carabao Cup semi-finals. Because you're shit, Rico. That's why. Yeah, Rico Henry's going. By the way, he's just too injury prone. I've done everything you can. Just because a player's injury prone doesn't mean you can't have them in your squad. But he just gets injured all the time. It's just not worth it. It's really, 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 really not. Let's go back to the scouted tab. Scouted. Matty Longstaff. Actually, we're going to have to reject the silver one first. Josh De Silva. You can see that there's a few people on here. Luca van der Gaag is going out on loan. Oddly enough, he's going to St Johnstone, it looks like. And Ellery Belcom is going to Sunderland. So yeah, we've signed one from St Johnstone and replaced them with someone from St Johnstone. Make an offer. If we take that out and we add players to exchange, transfer list of players, Josh De Silva, would you take that? They would not take that. They would. Okay, let's add 2.5 million to it as well and see what they say. Looks a bit mad, but we've been looking at Longstaff for a while. Other guys on here, you can see Ryan Jacks up there again. Andreas Cubas, again decoed over Reed, Cantwell. We'll look at Cubas and we'll look at this Al Mastri guy. Tom Cleverley's up there. There's Travis Kayate, Kabaya, Matt Grimes. Yeah, let's look at Cubas and let's look at Al Mastri. Edit. Yeah, but if you like it a bit more visual like this, then I'm more than happy to do it. Oh, he's at Nîmes. We got one of our favourite players from Nîmes. He's 7 million though. Box to box midfielder. I mean, chances created wise, he's already better than De Silva. Statistically, Yeah, he's better. Assisting, shots on target as well. We don't have a scout report on him, which is a bit annoying. Who didn't even get him from? Talires. Oh, no, that's not what we wanted. I mean, he's not as physical as De Silva, but if he's outperforming him, then, might be something in it. There really might be something in there. Let's change it to Longstaff. Let's see. Yeah, Longstaff's better. How much are they going to want for him? Yeah, no, see, he's too much. Who was the other guy? It was Ali Al Musrati. So, transfers. No, scouting. Musrati. So, yeah, basically, I found this guy, that Matty Lewis guy I went on about on like one of the earlier episodes. He basically done on his blog how to use data to assist in your scouting and FM, and obviously that's what we're doing, and it's pretty reflective of what the teams would do in real life. Ali Al Maserati, a 25-year-old 6'4" Libyan with £2.8 million, and he looks like an absolute brick wall. Okay, Ali Al. They're saying he's anchor man, but obviously we play him as a centre mid on support. Attribute wise, he looks quite good for that, apart from his off the ball, but he stays back and he plays short, simple passes. The fact he's playing short, simple passes and creating more than Josh De Silva is quite concerning. So key passes is just below, assists is just below, his pass completion ratio isn't as high, but he wins a lot more tackles per 90 minutes. Hmm. How much did he want for him? 3 mil. Would they take 3 million for Al Musrati? They would. He just looks like an absolute brick shit house, this fella. An absolute brick shit. DNA wise, he's banged on the average. And he stays back at all times so he won't get caught out, which means Leighton can sort of maybe create from deep a little bit more. Luke Amos, Tom Cleverley. Esposito was the guy that Brian Rima and Phil Giles brought back to us. Cantwell, QS, Elianusi, Liam Walsh, Pecunia. All these guys are like right on the average line. There's Jack Evans again. Tyreek Baconson. Jed Wallace was up there, bloody hell. So yeah, see again, there's Stevie Malin hidden away in the data there. You see when we were looking at I think it was chances created, or it was the first table that we looked at. You could see he was well away on like 8.9, but then if you actually drill it down, he's actually not that good. Um, so this is where like the visualization sort of comes into effect. Look, even like Mo Bezic is in there, Timothy Weah, all these guys are like bang average. Again, it's around this way. Uh, Gaia Bua, we're gonna look at Gaia Bua. Why not have a look at Gaia Bua? There's not going to be any gameplay on it in this, lads. It's literally just going to be sort of the search for a new creative player for the team. He's playing for Perugia. He's 20 years old. He's on loan from Atalanta. Gets again. This sort of like data way of looking at it, it's throwing up a few gems really. He actually looks very good. Comparison compare with Josh De Silva. He's playing in the Serie B. very, very close. He's probably got a bit more scope to grow than De Silva has. De Silva's better technically at the minute. Physically, Diabua's better, and mentally, the Josh De Silva kind of edges him out. But then you drill it down, and he's quite comparative: 0.58 to 0.67, 79% to 87, shots on target 20 to 31. Um, he could probably, again, one for the future. We do always look for it. Doesn't look like they want to sell him. And then is there anyone else hiding away in here? Estaquio. Let's have a look at Estaquio. Estaquio. Come on, son. Spells his name right? Estaquio? Estaquio, yeah. What was his first name? Stephen. Quio? Is he going to find it on that? Yes, it is. He's a Canadian playing for Cruz Azul. 25 years of age, shoots from distance, he comes deep to get the... He looks decent, you know. Has he got loads of international caps? Is that why he's eligible? Yeah, 27. Shoots from distance, comes deep, plays 1-2s, dictates tempo. Could be a very good deep line playmaker on defend. He really could be, which could see us push Baptiste up. Potentially. He's a very good centre. Oh, look at this. Attributes. Again, we don't normally look directly at attributes, but 15, 13, 15, 14, 14, 15, 13. It's all average or above average. Compare him with Josh De Silva. Overview, that is very close. As you can see, attacking wise, he's actually better than De Silva, which would sort of pay dividends into what we've said. Attribute wise, highlight for midfield, centre midfield support, which is how they both play. 13, 13, 15, 13, 13, 12, 15, 13. It's very close. I don't think there's anyone who particularly averages it out. Statistically, it's quite close again. The report's not there. We'll drop a little report on them and we'll just see how much they ask for. Between 7.25 and 10 million. Wow. They're saying 12. We're saying 7. So they'd take 8 million for him. Comparatively against Barzola and the likes, the only sort of issue I've got with Barzola is he's not played to the level that this is, that the Premier League is, whereas I think someone playing out in Mexico who's got plenty of international experience could probably handle the jump up a bit better. It's one of the things I'm quite concerned with Whiteman, who's just come in, whether he'll be able to make the jump up, but we won't know because we're not actually playing any games yet. We're just sort of doing all the nonsense with the table with these tables. There's John Fleck popping up again. Lewis Travis, Gayuba, Ali McCann. Remains Sawyers, he's a good player. John Swift, good player again. Alan Campbell. And Hadranovic. Didn't they want stupid money for Hadranovic as well? I mean, I'll be willing to pay around the 8 million mark for him. I mean, we're not going to find people who are worth like 200k every day of the week. That's just not sustainable. Hadranovic. Is it Hadj or Hadj? It's Hadj. See, you can see he's on the shortlist already. The Bosnian, 6.25. Very good, very technical player. He tries killer balls often. He shoots from distance, dictates tempo, like switch worldwide. See, I don't know now. What's he saying? between 11 and 17, so maybe around £13 million for him. They got him for 2.2. It's great business for them if that comes off. Compare him with Josh De Silva, who could potentially. Yeah, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? It's just defensively where De Silva excels, really. Let's drop that back to Jensen then. Key passes again. Jensen takes set pieces, so that's his key passes will always be higher. Pass completion's pretty close. Shots on target ratio, not so much. Tackles won, he's higher. But again, this is playing for Campasser out in Turkey, so they might have a different tactical style to us. So if we were to just sort of click on that really quickly, and then can we look at their tactics, what they play? We can 4-2-3-1, and he plays as an attacker midfielder. So there's reasons as to why he's not as good as of a tackler and whatnot. He's a lot more technical. He's better going forward. He's a lot better vision, and then you can see the defensive aspect of it. So maybe even it could mean if we get Harris in, he becomes the sort of the advanced player, and then Jensen becomes more of a conservative sort of not a ball carrier per se, but he keeps the play taken over a bit more. I'm liking the look of him. I've shortlisted him before, but obviously without the use of the table, I sort of couldn't drill it down as much. I think we go for Harris. I think we go for Harris as well. It would mean Balazar is completely out of the equation, though. Although he is quite an undervalued player, really performing well. Would you take 13? They would with that. So would you take 14 or 13.7? So 13 million. It would be the highest transfer fee I've paid as the Brentford manager, not the highest fee that Brentford have paid all around. De Silva we're definitely going to try and get rid of. Anyone else? Again, we're looking to get rid of Rico Henry. Um, what we want in our fullbacks is someone who can create chances, and somebody who is good at interceptions because he's going to be high up the pitch. He needs to sort of just get the ball back high up the pitch, whether it's a tackle or interception, and help us out in that respect. I might do a little table really quickly, just looking at fullbacks. So what do we want? Let's say interceptions, and key passes and whatnot. Let's have a little look at that. So we're going to go back into our scouted tab. Again, we don't like looking at it on the player search. I feel it's a bit cheating because if we were to clear all these positions and clear the name, you'd see it'll bring up how many people's it going to bring up for us. It's going to take a little while to process, I think. Remove. Go away. 321 players our scouts to come back with. If I was to go, oh no, it's even more. See, it's still within the hundreds. If I was to go into player search, you'd be looking at tens of thousands. I don't think that's particularly fair, to be honest with you. And it's not necessarily realistic. I'd rather find what like the scouts and the analysts have found. So yeah, I'm gonna pause the recording there. I'm gonna do a quick table about a fullback. That'll probably be the last thing we do in this episode. So once again, you see this isn't as heavily populated. I've not sort of gone too much in depth with it. You can see its chances created per 90 against like an average of minutes. Your sort of average is going to be between like 3.3 and 1.8, which means Borna Sosa, Anderson, Lequi, Fabrizio, Angolieri is actually well up there. Jaden Osterwalds, you see, we definitely looked at before. So Brandon Fleming, Angolieri, and these guys, Bono Sosa. Let's look at Angolieri first of all. Again, it's just all the players that we found as a left back. I can see Fabrizio as well up there anyway. Fabrizio Angeleri, we're going to compare him with Rico Henry. He's worth 1.1 million. He's more of a wing back, but he can play fullback attack pretty well. 27 years of age though, which is a bit of a Rico Henry. He's out of contract as well, Angeleri. That could work to our advantage. This is paying 90 minutes, obviously. 90-minute wise, Rico Henry's actually played less, so these are probably better. So we're going to try and find like an average, like pass completion 8.7, shots on target, tackles 1. Probably not as good as Rico Henry, really. He's not a bad player though, and his work permit's quite likely. And Philip Giles recommended him, and he gets most things right. He's more well-rounded. Highlight key attribute for fullback on attack. Physically, he's more average. Attribute-wise, they're pretty close. Mentally, he's quite close too. I think as a pre-contract, he's probably worth looking into. How much did he think? Regular starter. Take squad player, mate. Ha. 29k a week. Are you mad? Are you mad, mate? That's the thing with it being Premier League now. You can't find many people like properly undervalued, and teams just take the piss out of you. I'll drop it to 27. Whip my table back up. And who else was it? Decoy, Sosa. Let's look at. They're pretty much of a muchness. There's Anderson, wanted. He's unhappy. He's playing for Armenia Belfield. He's not worth much, but his DNA is probably his DNA is actually better. Oh, is it Yasser? Am I being daft? No, it's not. It's Anderson. Bono Sosa. Pretty close. Interceptions wise, is decent. How much is Sosa worth? 5.2. But he's younger. And he's got the better traits as well. And he crosses early. Ooh. Again, it's pair 90, and we've not got full reports on Biono Sosa. But look at all these. His endurance isn't good. He hasn't developed much. His jumping reach is crap. He's got bad in the air. He's really one-footed. He's very injury prone, and he could probably only be decent. Whereas Biono, it's sort of fitting in, which is language and peripheral. He counts towards the international registration, which is a bit annoying, but his heading's not that good. But everything else is like class. Highlight key attributes for fullback on attack. Yeah. Bjorn is better, isn't he? Borna Sosa, 23 years of age, Croatian. How much did they say again? 11 mil? Let's just do 10. They're not willing to even talk to me about 10 mil. Oh, he's got a release clause, has he? Oh, sound. Get that activated, yeah. There you go. So that's a quick look. Osterwald, they wanted like 30 mil. I've looked at him in the past. The only other one is like Brandon Fleming, who I think is playing for Hull. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, Brandon Fleming of Hull. 1 point. He's just not as good. But yeah, that's just a quick one to find Bono Sosa there. Which means let's just go back into the transfers and these transfer offers that we've got on. In we could probably do with 2. We'll keep these guys active just in case Harris doesn't fancy coming in. Did I withdraw the bid for Balazar? No, they're like, just walk away from Balazar. See, if I was just looking at it on like the scouted screen, Balazar would have been one of the ones I would have sort of jumped the gun on. But looking at it this way, it's a bit better. You can see Eric Tomey is far and ahead away, but he's not played as many minutes, which means he could have just had like one good game. It's like this cluster of players you want to look at, and we've identified one from there, which is Borno Sosa. Um, but yeah, that's just a quick episode, right? Well, not a quick episode, but just a quick look into sort of what we're looking to do and where we're trying to improve. Although I love Falikande, he's definitely not like the the starter. He was never meant to be the starter. He's just playing because Rico Henry's either unfit or he's performing really poorly. Can we compare him with Borna? And you can see Borna Sosa is like twice the player attribute wise. Statistically, he's better because he has been performing really well, but we don't have all of his stats anyway. Yeah, if Falikande can come in and perform that well when he's that less of a player, then I'm telling you, this kid, Borna Sosa, Stuttgart, was brought in from Zagreb to them. He's going to be a very good player, and look at all these traits. He's going to be we're going to have a very good fullback pair in there between Sosa and Sofian, who's been performing magnificently. You can see he's now worth 6.5 million. We paid like just under 1 mil, I think it was, for him. Yeah, yeah, 1.5. It's going well. It's going well, lads. That's the recruiting side of it. I'm gonna do a lot of work off camera and probably come back like March, April time. We obviously the ball went behind my back and decided to build youth facilities, which is really not annoying, but like I wanted to sort of do it this way rather than going down the scouting route because that's what Brentford do in real life. Um, but yeah, we can come back in March and look at the youth intake if you want, and maybe see where we've progressed from there. We are fifth in the league at the minute, and obviously going into a cup semi-final. Yeah, the players we're probably looking to get rid of. Josh De Silva, see if we can capitalise on him money wise. Mads Beck Sorensen when he's back from injury because he's not going to recover, he'll probably go. Um, Anyone else? Liam Palmer won't sign a new deal. Rico Henry looking to go. Um, Semedo, we're probably going to try and shift him on as good as he is, but he's becoming a bit of a troublemaker, so he's probably going to go as well. And then obviously just like the odd youth player is going to go after that. Yeah, lads, thanks one for that. I'll see you again in a couple of days, and hopefully we'll be around like the March window, and you can see who we brought in and how they've got on.